Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my daily vlog channel. Right now, I'm on a coffee run. I'm heading to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm getting me some coffee, getting my wife some coffee, and I'm bringing it to her at work. It is a little after 8 o'clock, so it's definitely time for some coffee. Let's do this. All right, everybody. Well, here is my coffee. Just regular black Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Delicious. Nice and nutty. Hot. So, all right. Let me bring the other drink to my wife. All right, everybody. Well, I dropped off coffee for my wife. Enjoyed my coffee for a little bit with her while she was working. And still enjoying mine. It stays hot for a while. And on my way back home, I figured I'd drop by this area right here. I've mentioned it before. This is an area where I filmed my 24-hour movie marathon. One of my skits in the 4th marathon, not the 5th, but the 4th marathon that I did. And I wanted to drop by here, and I'll show you where I'm at. At one time, this was a busy, packed K-Mart, and then it became a big K. Remember when they went through that stage where they were just called Big K? Yeah. Man. It's hard to believe that at one time K-Mart was like the biggest thing ever. It's crazy. So I'm going to go up there and see if I get some footage on the inside. But this thing has been empty for years. Yeah, it's a mess. This place has been in disrepair for a while. Okay, who remembers the days when you could walk into K-Mart, packed, it was packed, and you were able to get popcorn and a slushie of some kind? Wow. I won't be able to probably get in to see any good views, but let's see if my camera can pick up anything. Nope, it doesn't look like I could get anything in there. Other than my reflection, it looks like you could kind of see back there. Yeah, but who remembers when you could go in there and get popcorn? They had a concession stand, everything. I remember they used to always have those little toys, not toys, but those machines that you could ride on when you were a kid outside, out front. I mean, K-Mart was so popular, they talked about them in movies. Remember Rain Man? K-Mart in Cincinnati. I get my boxer shorts from K-Mart in Cincinnati. You know, like Dustin Hoffman says in the movie. But now they are all reduced to this. There's like one open still here in Jacksonville on the other side of town. They don't really get a lot of business anymore. You know, they're pretty much bankrupt. I think they are owned by Sears now. I think Sears owns the company. But it's just crazy to believe that at one time this was... I mean, now look at this parking lot. This parking lot used to be filled. It's kind of like when you walk into certain malls and stuff, you think that, the malls are going to stay packed forever, but then you realize they're not. And there's some malls that are empty too. And it looks like somebody tried to return something, but they didn't know that Kmart was closed, so they just left it out front. Somebody tried to return this sock. This whole time I've been standing and walking around here looking at the window, I did not realize there's a wasp's nest. Ooh. Let's get out of here, shall we? Bye-bye, old K-Mart. And this was the old garden center right here. I don't know why I decided to drive around back. Alright everybody, well I decided I'm going to try to do an impromptu live stream Blu-ray update on my YouTube channel. They're doing away with Google Hangouts pretty soon, and so I need to get used to the YouTube live stream format. So this is going to be kind of my test to do that. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and of course, whenever I'm done with that, I'll place the link down in the description on this video. Okay? Alright, well, I had some issues with the YouTube live thing. Made a video about that on my main channel asking for help. So I'll put the links down below if anybody knows of anything. Also, I did a Blu-ray and DVD update live stream. I just switched over to Google Plus and did those Hangouts. So check out those two videos. I'm going to clean up a little bit before my wife gets home from work. And then I'm going to do some reading. I feel like laying down and just diving into this book again. I love being immersed into another world with literature and movies. Picking up dinner. Good. Alright, so we got dinner. Before I got dinner, my wife picked these up from Publix, and she wanted me to try them. They were amazing. I know you're not supposed to eat your dessert before dinner, but I went ahead and did anyways, because this isn't my dessert. My dessert's going to come later. This is just me wanting some sugar. And yes, there is just random butter laying on our counter. That is for cookies that she is making tomorrow, and they're going to be amazing. And so here's some salsa. I got Dos Tacos with some chips. So a couple good tacos, some chips, salt, all the good stuff. And tonight, since a couple weeks ago we watched The Dark Knight, as you saw in these daily vlogs, and then a few weeks earlier, before that, we watched Batman Begins. Now we're finally finishing with my personal favorite of the trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. I actually like this one just as much as Batman Begins. And I love The Dark Knight, but I love these two films more. Because when I see The Dark Knight, I see Heat. And sometimes I just want to watch Heat, but I really love The Dark Knight. I love all the films the same, 10 out of 10 films, but the ones I go to the most are... Actually, I would say we go to this one more, because it's just amazing. It's all around amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and eat now because I'm really hungry. And I'm really shaky because I haven't had anything to eat. Alright everybody, well we've come to the end of the vlog, which means I have some questions that I want to answer. First set of questions, I kind of have them memorized now. They're from Matt the Collector here on YouTube. Check him out if you haven't. He asks me multiple questions. He asked me about my Seinfeld series that I always said I was going to do. I was going to do a review, episode by episode review of the show. And would I ever do that? Because I've always talked about it. Well, I've tried to do it so many times over the years, and it's just such a mammoth undertaking that I just can't fathom doing it right now. I'm doing my daily vlog series and a bunch of other stuff, and so I just can't even imagine doing them right now. It'd be really time consuming, and it's my favorite show of all time. They're right behind me over my shoulder, and I just want to give it my all, and I don't want to rush it. I don't want to screw it all up. So, you know, maybe one day it'll come, but I'm not sure. He also asks me, do I own any Halloween films other than the original? Yes, I own all the Halloween films. I own the first Halloween on VHS, DVD, 2 different times, and then I have the Digibook Blu-ray of the original, and then I have the DVD of number 2, the Blu-ray of number 2, and the the Scream Factory version of number 2. Then I have Halloween 3 on DVD, and then I have Halloween 4, 5, and the rest of them on DVD. Wasn't really crazy about the Rob Zombie ones, except Halloween 2. That's the one that people didn't like the most. I really love the crazy surrealism aspects of that film, and so it's not that bad to me. But I still don't really care for those films all that much. But I love the first two Halloweens, and I love the sequels, and I even love Halloween 3. I love the idea of an anthology kind of Halloween film. But the first two are my favorites. I like um, I don't know. I like that storyline with Laurie Strode over the storyline of 4, 5, 6. I love Halloween H2O. I don't really care for Halloween Resurrection. I really actually that's the only one I don't own. I got rid of it. I cannot stand that movie. It doesn't even feel like a Halloween movie to me, and I kind of wish it was never made. That's me personally. So, yeah, I love the Halloween films. He also asked me about the Friday the 13th films. Okay, the Friday the 13th films are my favorite horror franchise. Yes, Halloween 1 is one of my all time favorite films, and I'm obsessed with it. And I love Halloween 2. But in terms of the entire franchise, the overall story arc, Friday the 13th, even though none of those films are in my favorite films of all time, maybe Friday the 13th Part 3 is like in my top 50. But Halloween is in my top 10. Halloween 2 is probably in my top 50. But in terms of the franchise as a whole, consistency, Friday the 13th is. I love that series. The first one, not as much. I don't love the first film as much. And the second one's good. The third one, I love. I think it's amazing. The fourth one's amazing. The fifth one, I used to hate it. And then when I got over it, the whole twist behind it, those of you who know the twist, who've seen it, it's fun. You know, but then the rest of them, 6 and 7 in particular, I love. And Manhattan, I could take it or leave it. Jason Goes to Hell, the unrated version, is okay. It's an interesting premise. Jason X, guilty pleasure. I love Jason X. I think it's brilliant. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but I mean, Jason in space. Some of so flawed, but it's so fun. I can't. It's just such a fun movie. And then Freddy versus Jason, love it. Fun movie. Now that I'm older, the acting in it kind of sucks in a lot of ways, but the actual stuff between Jason and Freddy are pretty awesome. I think that's awesome stuff. So now, in regards to the Nightmare on Elm Street series, I love the first one, and I love New Nightmare. But other than that, I don't really care for any of the films. I have them all. I own them all. But usually I only watch like the first one and then New Nightmare. There's just something I just don't really care for them as much. I used to when I was younger, like as a teenager, but the older I got, um I don't know, they're just kind of not I don't know. I don't feel entertained by them. The first one, yes, and New Nightmare, yes, the Wes Craven ones. But other than that, the sequels, other than the first couple sequels, I thought they were fun, but they never grabbed me like Friday the 13th and Halloween. So, and I'm not really obsessed with Freddy Krueger, and so I don't know. I really love the first one though. The first one I think is one of the best horror movies of that era, and New Nightmare is so amazing and creative. I love it. But the other ones, I think when they started making Freddy a more comedic type person, it just took the fun out of it. To me, it just was not thrilling. I didn't look at it as a horror movie, and it's kind of like the Child's Play movies. I like the Child's Play movies. I like the first one, and I think the third one. I like those, but I never really cared for the rest of them. When it comes to horror movies, the slasher genre, I love Halloween and Friday the 13th. But my kind of horror movies that I love like Cannibal Holocaust. I love, the George Romero films. I love classic horror. Um, you know, Frankenstein, Dracula, all the Universal monsters. I love German expressionism and that era of film, silent film horror movies like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I love just all those horror films back then. The Golem. I love all those films, and you don't really hear a lot of people talk about those films. I love White Zombie with Bela Lugosi. I love The Devil Bat with Bela Lugosi. Um, Anything with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, I love. See, I love all those. I'm not really obsessed with the slasher genre all that much. A lot of people are, and I prefer the older stuff. The slasher movies that I like are Halloween because first in the first one you barely get any blood. It's not cheap scares. It's not jump scares like in a cheap way. It's a well done film, well written film. It relies on the unknown and what you can't see to scare you. The second one, yeah, they kind of amp up the gore, but it continues the story in a good continuity to where it's entertaining. And Friday the 13th just contains some amazing murder sequences. The special effects are amazing. And same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, but I'm not really obsessed with that genre, the slasher horror genre. I like the zombie stuff. I love the supernatural stuff. Like I love The Exorcist. It's amazing. I just love classic horror over. I don't like found footage stuff at all, and I really don't like a lot of mainstream horror films now at all. And there's some really good ones out there, but I just haven't gotten around to see them. So, yes, hope I answered your questions to the best of my abilities, Matt. Thank you so much for asking them. And I know what the next question is. Somebody asked me what my top 5 favorite songs were on the new Blink 182 album because everybody knows that they're like my favorite band of all time with like Green Day, Metallica, Blink 182. And, you know, those are like, I'm into everything. I love everything. Um, and then the Doors, you know, and then Led Zeppelin kind of round out my top favorite bands. But somebody asked me about my top 5 favorite Blink songs and on that new album. I would have to say I'm gonna go by song numbers because I don't really have the names of the songs memorized. My favorite song on there is number 11, and then I love 13 and 1, 2, 5, 6. I mean, I love every song on the album. How about this? On my way to work tomorrow, when I have the CD in the car, I'm gonna look at the cover and I'm gonna tell you exactly in order my favorite songs on the entire album. I'm gonna put all the songs in order. I'm gonna get in my car and do that and just go through the entire album and I'll tell you in order what my favorite songs are. I like every single song on the album. I love probably 90% of the songs on the album, but I like them all. But I love about probably 90% of them. So we'll go over that tomorrow. If I missed any questions, you guys, be sure to put it under this video below. I may have missed them over the past few days. I was just really busy at work. My replying hasn't been as great as it usually is, but I promise you I will keep in touch. Just leave some more questions at the bottom of this video and keep reminding me about the questions until I answer them. Don't get pushy about it, but I'll do it as best as I can because I like answering your questions and being, you know, having communication with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.